There we go. All right. Good morning, you guys. My name is Danica Botts. I am acting as both my own facilitator and presenter. So I am letting people in and recording, all that great stuff. Okay. Move that out of the way. Welcome, 10 Secrets of an Awesome Canvas course. In the chat, feel free if you want to just kind of introduce yourself, what district, your experience with Canvas. I'd like to kind of see where people are coming from. Yeah, in that chat, tell me what school district, your role, and what's your experience with Canvas. Let's see. Hello. Hi, Kobe. Thanks. Double checking that you can see my screen. Beginner, using Canvas for about a year now. About a year. All right, we're Canvas District. Hi, Annie. You're right down the street. I live in Rosenberg, but for 4 years I was a digital learning coach in Lamar CISD. 5 years, Colby says. No experience. All right, so a little bit of everybody. Like I said, I'm coming from Lamar CISD as a digital learning coach. 4 years there, we adopted Canvas. So I've been working with that. And as a digital learning coach, I work with our curriculum team, our principals, our teachers, our students on technology integration. But for the, it can look like Office 365 or Flipgrid or Nearpod, but the majority of my work was in Canvas. So this course that it's not even a course, it's just a page of some of my just my experiences with teachers and how to organize a really good and engaging course. So there might be things on here that you would say has to be in a course of awesome secrets, but just from what I was doing, these are the things that just were must-haves in order to have a great course. So I'm going to drop in the chat this link to this course. And something's funky happening with the images right now, but hey, it's really about the hyperlinks that I've put in here. So I'm not going to stress this morning when I came and saw that my images were doing something funky. I imported this course from my free account into the Region 4 account, so there must have been something funky with that import, but oh well, the show will go on. Let me keep checking the waiting room. And okay, let's go. Again, my name is Danica. Welcome. As of 2 weeks, I've been a member of the instructional designer department at Region 4. But I had already applied to present here when I got a position at Region 4. So woohoo, wearing both hats. Here at Region 4, my job is going to be to design online courses using Articulate, but also Region 4 has adopted Canvas, so I'll be helping in that area too. So super excited. If you want to keep in contact, I am at Teaching in Chucks on Canvas. And that Teaching in Chucks is because every Friday as a teacher, I would wear my red high top sneakers. So let's go. My first tip that I want to share with you is just the magic of modules. If you don't know what modules are in Canvas, I think of them sort as a virtual binder where you can put your resources for students, where you can add your quizzes, your pages, your discussions, funnel it all through your modules. So what's nice about a Canvas course is they can look a million different ways. The ability to customize is endless. And that's also a downfall, because what I saw in my previous school district was once teachers kind of got the hang of it, the ways that their course, the way they would design their course and organize things began to kind of shoot around. And so putting yourself in the student's position, that can be tough to have your course look one way first period and a different way second period. By the way, 8 through 12 is my background, so those are where my examples are going to come from. But as a digital learning coach, I work K through 12. So third period and this teacher has designed their course a totally different way. So in my previous school district, we were really big on having a basic homepage that had your syllabus information, my name, my conference period, my email address. But when it came down to where students went to for the meat of the course, the content of the course, we always say modules. That's what we consider to be best practice. Letting in another friend. All right. If you'll notice, so I want to talk about customizing your navigation menu because we want to funnel students to modules. We were big on customizing this menu here on the left. Can you see where I'm pointing on the left-hand side here? See my mouse wiggling? These eyes tell me what's visible to the students. These are all the features of Canvas. You can do discussions, you can create announcements, you can create quizzes, but we didn't want students to have to remember where to go. By using modules, you can place inside of a module your virtual binder, your quiz, your pages, your links. So what we would do is turn off by going to settings, turn off these other features. So the only things that were really visible to the students were their home page, announcements, grades, and if you were using some other third-party tools like Flipgrid or Office 365, then those would be visible. But we turned off quizzes and discussions and files, all of that we placed inside of a module just for consistency's sake, just for getting that muscle memory. A student knew always go to modules for what they were looking for. Does that make sense? Give me a thumbs up. Yeah, you got those. Yay, thank you, Kobe. But you also have these reactions. I think you have reaction tools, hearts, flowers, thumbs up, good stuff. All right, another thing that I really love about modules is I'm going to show you some different types for organizing your modules. How do I put the content inside of the modules? And again, those possibilities are endless too. So here's a silent YouTube video that I made, just kind of scrolling down some examples of modules that I've seen with teachers. So it's this first one right here. There we go. This first one right here. So the teacher created, the title of the module is the week that she's in. And then the first item inside the virtual binder, the module, is a weekly overview. If you click on this page icon, then it takes you to kind of her description of what's happening in the class. And then Monday, here's the assignments, here's the notes, here's the quizzes that we're going to do, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so on. Another example is the Spanish example here, where she's a little bit more detailed. So here's the unit title. But then right after that, you can directly click on the daily warm-up. Then she has vocabulary inside, the activity, the lecture, and she even has a page that says stop here for the day, you're done. And it continues. Any questions about that? Well, here's an example from a science course where their very first module, and this is something that I always push big with my campuses, when they come into your modules, the first thing I want them to see is kind of your beginning of the year, your introductory materials, classroom resources. Here's my syllabus. Here's how you access the textbook. Here's how you log into your textbook. Any of that information that you find yourself repeating a million times, but you need it, is confirm classroom procedures and expectations, and then information about the textbook. And then they get into what we're doing for the week. So this one's even more detailed than the previous ones. Day by day, here's the objectives. Here's what they call engage, or their daily warm-up activities. They're using headers here with emojis to kind of help visually separate their module. Notes, exit ticket, stop, you're done. And then they just continue. So how you organize your module is completely up to you, as long as a student can look at how these modules were set up and instantly know this is where I can find the information that I need. Something else that I really love about modules is the ability to add requirements and do mastery paths. So and these are kind of advanced tools, because it takes you having put content into your modules. And what a requirement is you're forcing a student to work through the module at a certain pace, at a specific pace. As you add notes inside, a quiz, a discussion board inside, you have these 5 options. The student has to view the item, which they get credit for just clicking on it. Mark as done. I open it up, but there's a box on the page, and you get a little box that says mark as done, and they have to physically click it. Contribute to the page, submit the assignment, or score at least, where I as a teacher say you can't move on from this item inside the folder unless you score at least 70, 80, perfect score. And what I like about this is forcing the students to work through the module and not just kind of skip around. Basically, if you're getting ready for a test, a review. So how do you do that? Is you click on modules. In the module you've created, there's 3 dots, 3 ellipses in the upper right corner, and you click edit, and then you start to add your requirements to it. And that's those 5 options that we talked about. So I'm not going to go through all of it, short on time, but I have linked these Canvas guides for you to go back and refer to. So teachers really like that they can see here's an example of a module that has requirements in it. First, you have to do tools and measurements, and the rest of this module will not open up to you until you have scored at least 6, even though the points, it's totally worth 7 points. Then you have to work through this step and that step. So requirements are fun. Anything in the chat? Looking over? Okay. Another really cool thing that you can do with modules are creating mastery paths. So requirements say, do all of these steps, but mastery paths let you use differentiation inside of a module. So I may have, a quiz that's more rigorous, something that's, average rigor, and then something that's super easy. And, based on, what I know my skills are of my students, or we're doing a review for something. Based on how you score, I can have an initial assessment and set up Sorry about that, guys. What's the last thing y'all heard me say? I just saw a message that said ended. What's the last thing y'all heard? Anybody? Unmute real quick and tell me what's the last thing you heard me say before it cut out.
You were talking about mastery and you have to complete this and that before you can move on.
Oh, wow. So that's a good 2 minutes you might have missed. Okay, all good. Thank you, Ms. Khan. All right, let me share again. Share this screen. Yeah. Mastery paths. So did you see this screen here that I was talking about? Okay. In a mastery path, and some people consider mastery paths a tad advanced because if you're just starting out in Canvas, then you don't have the content created to be able to organize things like this. But let's say I have all of these resources, safety and science, label your microscope, this basics activity right here. I can say that I consider mastery to be 8 out of 10. And if a student takes my initial quiz and they score 8 out of 10, then this track is where it's taking them. But if they score 4 out of 10, then Canvas will automatically assign these two assessments and activities to them. And if they do poorly on that initial assessment, then this is the route that they take. So definitely something to keep in the back of your mind whenever you're creating content and resources in Canvas, that's something you can do once you get a good bit in there. Moving on from modules, my favorite secret is to use embed code and inline preview. Don't get nervous when someone talks about using coding or anything. It's super, super easy. But my idea behind that is to keep students within the Canvas environment, what I call reducing the clicks. So teachers can put a PowerPoint, put a worksheet up, put a PDF, and the student has to download all of this. And keep in mind that a bunch of our students are probably most likely, secondary perspective, they're probably working from their cell phone and they're not very adept at working in multiple windows. So with Canvas, as much as possible, I encourage teachers to use the embed code, which puts the resource directly on the page. They see it with inline, and they don't have to download some things to another window. Sometimes you can't avoid it, having them having to open another window, but when I can avoid it, I do. So here's a video of me wanting to share this PowerPoint on Office 365 tools with students. Canvas has an integration with Office 365 or Google, whatever you're using, where I can pull right from my OneDrive. If you're using Google, that would be your Google Drive. And I can drop it right in, full screen for you, right into my activity. This is called the Rich Content Editor. But using it that way, students would still have to click on it and embed it. Here, I'm showing you how to get the embed code with Google. That would be the publish to web option. I'm choosing which size I want it to appear on the page. I'm copying the embed code and I'm going back to Canvas and I'm choosing the embed option. And all I did was drop it in there and click submit. Now you see, instead of students clicking on the link and it taking them to another tab, using embed code allows it to be on the page. Now, that went a little fast, but inline preview. If I want to share a Word document, a PDF, this is how I would do it. You have your documents icon. You would upload the file from your computer. Here I am grabbing a PDF on my desktop. Click open, it uploads, I click submit. Again, that's just giving them a link that when they click it, they're going to have to download it. But if you use the inline preview, there was a quick icon. It went kind of fast, but back up. Yeah. there was an icon right here with a little magnifying glass on top of it. Clicking that, students have to click that and then it'll open for them automatically. They don't have to download it. Or you can force it to be open where it's automatically open. Students don't have to look for that icon and click by putting your cursor on it, clicking link options, and then choosing the automatically open inline preview button. And so now, it's open automatically. Check my chat here. If you change with code to 100, will automatically adjust no matter what device you're using. That's nice. Reduce the clicks. Yeah, let students find what they need quickly and easily without having to have multiple tabs open. Third tip, LTI. Canvas has this whole library of external tools that you can add to your course, because you're giving them a quiz or you're giving them a lecture on Nearpod that you want to do, but traditionally you're giving them the link, the join code, and they have to go outside of Canvas to get it. If your school has a district license with Nearpod, then you can integrate it, or Flipgrid, you can put that directly into your Canvas course right on the page so that you don't have to give them a separate link. So let me show you what that means, what that looks like. Let me show you that library. Keeping my eye on the chat too.
Canvas has all types of external tools that can be added to your course. I love these because they keep the student within the Canvas environment. They don't have to go to another page or open up another tab. So if you go to settings and then choose apps across the top, some of my favorites are Nearpod, and you can find them just by typing here in the search bar. Nearpod is there if your district has the district license. Flipgrid is another great one. Badger is really cool for giving students virtual rewards. So check out the library of LTIs. You may have to get a consumer or shared secret, and your district might have to have a license to it, but there are a lot of great free ones that work well in here, so check them out.
LTIs. In fact, one of my favorites is an example from an English teacher. I tweeted about him in my tech shout outs, how he's an English teacher, but he's also student council. I want to give a tech shout out sponsor. So I would do these tech shout outs for my teachers.
To Terry Ranger English 4 teacher and student council sponsor, Mr. Beamer. He has created a Canvas course just for student council and set up a Flipgrid so students running for office can make their campaign pitches. Let's take a look. First thing we notice is he has enabled the Flipgrid integration in Canvas. And we see that there are about 8 students running for office. Let's check out one of their pitches.
Hello everyone, I am Madison O'Neill and I am running for secretary. I was on student council last year as a junior and I'm going to continue to be a part of student council for my last year of high school.
Way to go, Mr. Beamer. This is a really neat way to get the information out there about students' ideas and goals in front of their classmates.
Right in Canvas. So you bypass the whole giving the Flipgrid link, giving the Flipgrid code. When they log in, it's there. Love it. So that's LTI love. My fourth tip is to work smarter, not harder when you're creating your assignments. So if you already use some type of textbook generator software like ExamView, did you know that you can create those quizzes in ExamView and then export them from ExamView and then import them into Canvas? You don't have to recreate the quiz. Here's a video. Here is Canvas's help guide on packaging those, that test that you created in ExamView, you export it as what's called a QTI package. And then when you save it in Canvas, you go to Settings, Import Course Content. From the drop-down menu, you select QTI zip file, find it where you saved it on your computer, import it, and then I always want to drop it into a question bank to keep all of those questions together, and just name that question bank the title of your test, and then import it into your course. And that is how easy it is to, if you're already familiar with using this software, ExamView, not having to think you have to type them all from scratch in Canvas again. So that's one thing. But if you are creating questions from scratch in Canvas, then my number one tool there is to start.
One tip that I like to share with teachers when they're
My number one tip
getting ready to make a
by
quiz,
creating a question bank. So here's a video of me working with an Algebra 1 teacher. What did you think was cool, Kobe? Okay. So here we are in the quizzes section of this teacher's course.
is to avoid the urge to just come to quizzes on the left-hand side and then choose create quiz, add a quiz. What I like to have teachers do is to first put their questions in a question bank. So click these ellipses right here, choose manage question banks, and then add question bank. That way, all of your questions that you create are here. And then when you're ready to create classic or new, whatever you're creating from, and then you can choose new question group so that if you
by default, a lot of people go straight to add a new question, but if you put them in a bank first, this next part is just magic.
You're at the end of the school year and you're ready to do a semester review, you can pull questions from a bank. So I'm going to select this one that we've labeled by the standard. And then I can say choose 5 questions from that bank at 1 point apiece, create group. Add a new question group, go to my next bank. I see it has 37 questions in it. I can say give me 10 questions from this bank at 1 point apiece. New questions, 2 points apiece, whatever you want to do, so that you have a totally randomized quiz. No test will look the same, and it saves you so much time and effort. Let me know if you have any questions.
This was the lifesaver for teachers at the end of the school year, because they had been creating quizzes individually. Chapter 1, type all the questions in. Done, gave the quiz. Chapter 2, make all of it individually. Now it's the end of the year and they're saying, this final exam. Well, let me show you how you could have sorted those questions into banks to pull randomly for you. And even if you haven't, even if your teachers haven't used banks before, what's nice is that Canvas even has what's called an unfiled bank, where every question that you've been making this year is in it. You would just go and kind of sort it into the mini topics if you want to. All right, that is my tip number 4, utilizing question banks to make random, no 2 tests are alike quizzes and assessments for teachers. New analytics, where, as teachers, we can kind of feel like lawyers sometimes with the amount of data that we have to keep track of. Canvas does a great job of keeping track of who participated and when. Let me walk you through an overview of using the new analytics feature in Canvas. So I was working with Mr. Edenmeyer.
Hi, Mr. Eden.
And his question was specifically about student participation, trying to track down what one of his virtual students, Lamar is both face-to-face and virtual, what one of his virtual students had been doing.
I think I found what we were looking for. I'm here under new analytics on the left, and I'm going to choose reports across the top, and then course activity, click run report. I'm going to filter for student name, type in the student I was interested in, and then I can filter again. You said you were looking for a particular date, so I'm going to do date, and then just choose pretending that November 30th is the date that you were interested in. I could see 12 results. So when I click run report, you may get a pop-up window up here on the left asking for permission to download multiple files. Go ahead and say yes. In my bottom left corner here, I got an Excel sheet that downloaded. Let's open it up and see what it says. Okay, so we got a field for student ID, student name, section ID, which is your course, course ID. I think what you're going to be interested in is right here, content name. You can see
I have no idea what's going on here. Why are you getting kicked out? All right. Number 6. Get to the data you need quickly. Let's talk about filtering the grade book that Canvas has. So when you go to the grades section in Canvas, it has many different, you don't just have to look at the name, the assignment, and the view. You can sort by just looking at your assignment groups, which might be major, minor, the grading period that you're in. If you just want to see the assignments in a particular module that you created, or section groups, there's so many different ways to filter through and sort to just get to what you're looking for. Because if you're using it for daily activities, then your gradebook can get pretty massive very quickly. So don't forget that you can sort, and it's right here across the top that you can change those different views. I'm going to move a little bit quicker. Speaking of data, the speed grader is one of my favorite tools. To get to that, you're doing a graded assignment. In the graded assignment, you click on the option that says speed grader on the far right, and then options across the top in this new pop-up window that's going to open. By default, students from all of your classes all day long are just alphabetized. But if I just wanted to see who has submitted, then I can switch my sorting option to submission status, which is my favorite way to have teachers look at their speed grader. So it'll put all the students who need grading on the top, all the students who haven't submitted in the middle, and those students who you have graded on the bottom. So you can quickly sort through. All that to say, everything is customizable. Very little in Canvas do you have to take exactly like it is. Another really good data feature is the quiz log that's found in the, we don't see your screen. Oh my. Share screen. Okay, let me go back to that. Gradebook filtering is one I covered. Student list is one I've covered. All right, so I was saying gradebook. I go to grades from the left-hand menu. Your gradebook opens, and across the top you have an option called view. And view, you choose filter, and you have these different options here: modules, grading periods, sections. In LCISD, we use Skyward as our final gradebook, but we also could sort our Canvas gradebook by grading periods and major and minor, so that they could sync over to Skyward. Very nice. So that's all I was saying about that. Sorry you didn't see it. Other data feature that I like is the quiz log inside of Canvas. I click on quizzes. It brings me my list of quizzes that I've given. On the 3 dots right here, the ellipses, show student quiz results. I can click on a name of a student, and then you have this button here that says view log. Keep an eye on my chat. This is a feature students, teachers just love immediately. When you give a quiz, you can see it timestamps everything, exactly when a student began a quiz. Up here I see Friday, June 2nd, 2017. How many attempts? If you gave multiple attempts on that quiz, you can flip-flop between the different attempts and see how they did. When they started, how long they spent on a question, which is really good. I mean, for all students across the board, but if I have a student, that has accommodations or modifications, I can kind of infer if you're using those based on how long you spend on a question. And then probably one of my favorites is where it says stopped viewing the Canvas quiz taking page. If you don't have a type of software in your district where it monitors, like we have, oh shoot, what's it called? Not Respondus. What's the one that monitors their page and will track their eyesights and their head movements, and if they open up a new tab, I'm drawing a blank. This is a great tool here. Stopped viewing the Canvas quiz taking page. Anybody put it in the chat? The name of it? Yeah. And you can print that out, take it to your ARD meetings, send that to a parent, help teachers do that before. That's fun. Have to love that quiz log. All right, and we're wrapping up. My next tip for you is just put yourself in the role of a student. Look at your course from the student's perspective. Design with them in mind. Design with a mobile device in mind. We know students are using, at least the grades that I work with, majority of them are using their cell phone to navigate their course. So think about things like, is it accessible? Are you using like the whole Bitmoji classroom trend? That can be hard to read on a cell phone because you have to zoom in, or if a student has a screen reader that doesn't have alternative text behind it, where a student who has vision problems or blind can see what's described in that image. Preview your quizzes, test out your mastery paths if you're using prereqs to see what it looks like from their perspective, and you can catch a lot of bugs that way. Here is a video really quick, just kind of showing I've designed this course beautifully on my desktop, but it can look, slightly different on a cell phone. So here's the course, beautiful banner. She's embedded a video using Canvas Studio. There is a table with some information in it. Flip to a next page, she has in it beautiful banner, directions, a video embedded, some more directions, and they've used the inline preview tool to embed some directions. She wants them to get into groups, and she has a screenshot of how to access the groups. Now here's that same course from a cell phone. the table is squished, the banner doesn't show, or maybe the student is in a place with poor internet and things are taking forever to load. That PDF that she embedded is now an external tool that they have to click and it opens up in a new window. I'm going to flip through that because I have I have 5 minutes left? No, 10, 20 minutes left. 4 minutes left. Let's see. Leave no room for doubt, add media to everything, record the introduction to assignments, use a screencast tool, something like Screencastify, or if your district has the Canvas Studio option, that's great for just walking them through. Don't leave anything to chance. Here's a video of me showing you how you're going to access today's assignment, how you're going to complete this project I have for you. I love the media tool inside of Canvas. I use it for everything. My 9th tip is to add rubrics to everything if it's graded, so students know exactly how they're being graded. Here's the guide that shows you how to create rubrics in Canvas. And I love them because when you're grading, you just kind of click the boxes to award credit. It's so easy to grade if you put a rubric on something. And then finally, use the announcements feature in your course to communicate with your students. I walk them through first day how to add their cell phone number to Canvas so that they can get text messages. A lot of our schools are fans of Remind, and Remind is good, but if they're already using Canvas and everything is there, you can do the same thing. You can communicate, send messages through Canvas as well. So use the announcements feature and they get a text message. You can send it just to a specific section of your class. You can delay it because a lot of the times I have ideas that might come to me early in the morning, but I create the announcement, but I don't want it to go out at 3 a.m. when I had the thought. I can delay the post, get a calendar, get a clock, send this at 8 a.m. Tomorrow morning. So really, really quickly, with 2 minutes to spare, those are my secrets to an awesome Canvas course. We got a few minutes if you want to stick around and unmute and ask some questions or put it in the chat. I am on Twitter at TeachingInChucks if you want to follow me. And here is the link to this course if you want to have that. Anybody? It's fast and furious, I know. Thank you so much, very helpful. Thank you, Ms. Martin. Anybody? What's something you didn't know that you could do with Canvas? Thank you, Ms. Jacqueline. Thank you, Kimberly. Thank you, Denise. What's something that I didn't include that you can't live without in Canvas? Thank you for sharing your website. All right, no problem. Anything you saw that you're looking forward to trying or sharing with your teachers? Maybe something I did not include that you can't live without? Anything? Bye, Annie. Thank you for coming. Yeah, I'm glad you guys do have a link because this recording is going to be in 3 different segments. That's awful. I can stitch it together. Okay, well then if nothing else, you guys have a great day. Thank you for coming. Enjoy the rest of the conference.